Oh, first rant of the year. Off to lose the dad bod and the double chin. Haven't been mountain bike riding for several months, and due to work commitments. But now that that's over, I'm going to make a fist of it. So I'm on my way to the peninsula, and that gives me time to record this video. I've been arguing a lot on the internet with atheists. I don't know why. They keep coming up in my feed, and religious people coming up in, all right, okay, whatever. The algorithm has sent it all to me, so I've been arguing. And I'd like to just point out that both sides are completely and utterly wrong. Let's start with religion. Okay, there's a creator, right? But then what? Well, where do you get this idea that there's an old book about it that we should trust for no reason, and in that old book it tells us to cut our foreskins off? How do you get from creator to that? I mean, seriously, dude, come on. So I look at atheists, and they just pretty much base their belief that there is no God on the ridiculous shit that we see in religion. Okay, not science. If you're going to be serious, you're going to look at quantum physics to decide whether there is a God or not whether somebody else is wrong. That's like me saying 2 + 2 = 5 because 5 is a number, and some crazy thinks 2 + 2 = cucumber. And cucumber's not even a number, it's a vegetable, so clearly it equals 5. That's the logic that an atheist has. Ask any atheist, and their proof that there is no God is by mocking religion. That's not how you prove that there is no God. You've got to look at quantum physics. Quantum physics proves that there is some sort of creator, simulation, architect, what have you, okay? It's impossible to... They're very blinkered people, atheists. And that brings us to people who believe what they want to believe. So there's a subconscious need to lie to their own... Oh, gee, I might have to turn off here, but let me pause. No, I think I've got to go through Balnearing. I'm on my way to Red Hill, somewhere down the peninsula to go mountain biking. So anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so people believe what they want to believe because they can't face reality, so they lie to themselves until they actually believe what they want to believe. And you could argue this, you know, the people that are religious, it could be the guy that has his wife cheat on him, and he hasn't got the guts to kill the bastard, so he has to pray that God is real, so he'll pass judgment in the afterlife. So he's a religious guy, and of course the atheist is the guy who did the cheating, and he's hoping that there is no God, so he doesn't have to go to hell. So there's your two types of people. I think atheists in general get really, really pissed off when you bring up quantum physics, and they get really irate when you bring up logical arguments, so I feel that they have a bad conscience that they have to appease anyone who look at the COVID pandemic. They got their kids vaxxed. Now they have to double down that the vaccine was safe and effective and was the right decision, so they don't have to face the harsh reality that they're probably going to give their kids a stroke before they're 30 years old. So this is something people can't handle the truth. They double down on, and atheists are very much like that. They really get angry when you argue, and I just argue with quantum physics. Now, why? Look at quantum physics. So what is atheism? It's like matter exists, okay? There's a little blob of something, I don't know. You cut it in half, and you cut it in half again, and for all of infinity, if that's even conceivable. But then we look at quantum physics. The first quantum physics revelation, matter is energy. Yeah, how does a little blob of something magically turn to energy in a nuclear bomb? You know, and then there's gravity. You've got particles of substance of some sort bouncing around the universe like a DVD player screensaver, and somehow it can attract another piece of matter with the force of gravity, or magnetism. They're polarized with positive and negative charges. These forces, they can't exist if there's just blobs of shit floating around like a DVD screensaver. And yeah, so there's structure, there's forces. They call them laws of physics. Well, as soon as you introduce the term law of physics, you're pretty much introducing something that has been designed. You see, a law is some rule, something made up, and in this case, a law of physics is something that has been established so that all matter abides by that law, such as gravity, such as electricity, and all sorts of things. Time, space. My God, how the hell do blobs of shit floating around change time the faster you go? Because, you know, and gravity changes time too. Gravity and light change time. That's called the space-time continuum. The closer to the speed of light we go, the slower time is for us. Whereas, you come back after about a 2-week flight near the speed of light, and all of a sudden all civilization's gone because it's 2 million years later on Earth. And we're out the perimeter of the Milky Way. We're going pretty fast around the edge of the galaxy. So our time is moving pretty slow relative to the center. So things are moving pretty quick in the middle of the galaxy compared to us, and it's just weird. Yeah, that's just a law of physics. Yeah, that explains it. It's magic shit, for fuck's sake. That makes no sense whatsoever. Yeah, a blob of matter can achieve that. Yeah, sure. So then there's the double slit method experiment. The double slit experiment was an early 19th century experiment where if they observed the particles using monitoring equipment, they would behave differently than if they weren't observed. So that means awareness influences the behaviour of matter. Okay. Look up the double slit experiment. And they were trying to find out whether light was a wave or a particle, and it behaved as a particle and a wave depending on whether they were monitoring it or not. It's the most bizarre thing ever. So let's face it, you see, the problem with blinkered people is they take things for granted. They can't see beyond. They take a law of physics as if, well, that's because it's just the way matter behaves. They don't look beyond that and realise that a blob of substance can't have these magical forces that can change time, space, or change depending on observation and predict the future. The the double slit experiment means that a particle left the sun 8 minutes before it was observed to behave differently. Somehow knew that it was going to be observed before it, so it would travel as a particle right from the get-go. It's just ridiculous. So atheists, just very blinkered, narrow-minded. You see, let me quote I'm going to have my own quote here. It's very easy to be master of a small universe. If your universe is very small and you lack lateral thinking, and you haven't had your magic mushrooms or your ashwagandha, which I haven't, I don't need it. I can think outside the box anyway. And you can't perceive anything other than your small little world. You're living in a little box, a little echo chamber. Then everything is so under your control because it's easy to be master of a small universe. And that's what an atheist is, master of a small universe. And so with religious, I got to get back to religion, yes. They just follow that everything makes sense because of these ridiculous things that religion has come up with. There we go. Here's a sign saying Red Hill. Turn right. Yeah. So religious people just, the Bible said this, so it's true, yeah. You got to question everything. Question everything. Okay, there's a creator and he's not religious, okay? That's the end of the story. Atheists are wrong, religious people are wrong. There is a creator and that creator is not religious. And that's the end of the story.